Hi, everyone. Well, we might be watching at least the opening statements in this Lori Vallow Daybell upcoming trial here next week. So I thought I'd put a little bit of information together for you guys so you know exactly what it's all about. So here's what they say about this upcoming trial, so you guys know. In this Arizona case, she is charged with conspiracy to commit red rum in the death of her former husband, Charles Vallow, and the attempted red rum of her nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. I forgot about Brandon. Okay. So the shootings of Charles and Brandon happened within months of each other in 2019. And in Charles's shooting, the investigators identified the suspect as Vallow's late brother, Alex Cox. According to the police, the shootings of Charles and Brandon were motivated by money and a bizarre spiritual system. So it's all very, very, very strange. I forgot all about the what they call him, the brother-in-law, the cousin-in-law, ex-nephew-in-law. Now, she had an opportunity, they say, to influence the judge in her sentencing before July 31st of, what was this, 2023, I think? Yeah. Okay, so this is what she said. Just, if you're not familiar with this case or this woman, get prepared. It's like crazy on a subtle level, if that makes any sense. She's just more subtle than what we're used to, but it's still crazy.
All right, Ms. Vallow, before I impose sentence, if you choose, you may address the court. This is known as the right of allocution, which permits you to make a statement on your own behalf or present any information in mitigation of the punishment for the crimes you've committed. And let me inquire at this time, do you wish to address this court? All right, very well, you may make your statement.
I would like to start by quoting John from the New Testament in the Bible. In John chapter 8, verse 7, Jesus says, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Then in verse 15, Jesus says, "Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true." Jesus knows me, and Jesus understands me. I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. Jesus Christ knows the truth of what happened here. Jesus Christ knows that no one was murdered in this case. Accidental deaths happen. Suicides happen. Fatal side effects from medications happen. I have a different perspective in life because in 2002, when I was pregnant with Tylee, I died in the hospital while in labor with her. They tried to stop my labor. They put me on the table and they put something in my IV, and I felt my spirit falling to the floor. I was standing near my pregnant body, watching the doctors try to revive me, which took them a few minutes. In that time, my sister Stacy was standing to my left. I turned to hug her and was surprised that her spirit was as tangible as a physical body, because I knew I was in spirit and she was in spirit. She said she needed to show me some things, and we went to heaven. I later returned to my body. Because of this experience, I have access to heaven and the spirit world. Since then, I have had many communications from people now living in heaven, including my children, Tylee Ashlyn and Joshua Jackson, my sisters, Stacy and Lolly, my aunts and my uncles, and my grandparents. I have had many communications with Jesus Christ, the Savior of this world, and our heavenly parents. I've had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy. I have always mourned the loss of my loved ones, and I have lost many in this mortal world. However, I know them more than most people. I know where they are now and what they're doing. I know how wonderful heaven is, and I'm homesick for it every single day. I know we all lived in heaven before we were born on earth, and we were all adult spirits in the heavenly realm. We chose to come to earth as mortals. Heaven is more wonderful than you can possibly imagine. I do not fear death, but I look forward to it. I did not want to return to my body when I was out of it. Even though my son Colby, who I adored more than anything, was only 6 years old at the time, and I was about to give birth to this new baby girl that I wanted so badly. I was a young mother, and you would think I wouldn't want to leave my children, but as I stood in heaven, I did not want to go back. I thought they would be fine without me because I was peaceful and I was happy and I was home. But then I was told by Jesus that I needed to go back and complete things that I had covenanted or promised to do before I was born. This caused me a lot of distress because I knew heaven was my real home, and I only wanted to be there. I was free from pain, emotional and physical. But then I was shown how I would help my children and others in the future. So ultimately, I did agree to go back to my body. Kylie has visited me. She is happy and very busy. Kylie is free now from all the pains of her life. Kylie suffered horrible physical pain her whole life. I sat with Kylie in the hospital year after year after year while she screamed in pain when the morphine wasn't even enough to take away the pain of her pancreatitis. I sat there while she cried and I held back her hair while she threw up. And I am the only person on this earth who knows how much Kylie suffered in her life. She had pain every single day. She never felt good. Her body did not work right. And I don't know if that was from complications from me dying while she was being born or something else, but she had a very difficult life. She was sexually abused by her own biological father since she was 3 years old, and she was forced by family court to go visit him for 10 years against her will. I fought for her in court. I protected her. I tried to protect her with my whole life. I tried to protect her. I worried about her every single day. Kylie had to get her GED because she couldn't go to school every day because she never felt good. She felt sick. Nobody knows this because Kylie, like myself, tries to put on a good front, tries to be a happy person, tries to have hope in life, tries to know that she's here for a purpose and that she has an eternal purpose to be on this earth. But I never stopped worrying about her. One of the times that Kylie came to me as a spirit after she died, she commanded me and she said to me, "Stop worrying, Mom. We are fine." She knows how I worry and how I miss her. The first time JJ visited me after he passed away, he put his arm around me and he said to me, "You didn't do anything wrong, Mom. I love you. And I know you loved me every minute of my life." JJ, Joshua Jackson, was an adult spirit. And he was very, very tall when he put his arm around me. He is busy. He is engaged. He has jobs that he does there. And he is happy where he is. His life was short, but JJ's life was meaningful. JJ was a wonderful person and touched the lives of everyone. And I adored him every minute of his life. My eternal friend, Tammy Daybell, has visited me on several occasions. She came to bring me peace and comfort, and I know that she is extremely busy helping her family, especially her children and grandchildren. And I have a great love for Tammy. My beautiful children, Tylee Ashlyn and Joshua Jackson, rest safely this day in the arms of Jesus. My wonderful friend, Tammy Daybell, rests safely this day in the arms of Jesus. And I look forward to the day when we are all reunited and I too will rest with them in the arms of my Jesus.
Yeah, she's batshit crazy. Why does this matter? Well, because she's going to be representing herself in this upcoming trial. Now, in case you're wondering, that judge ended up sentencing her to multiple terms of life in prison without parole to be served consecutively. So we won't see her out. It doesn't matter, but they want justice for her latest victim. The other side of this is Chad Daybell, her crazy boyfriend who started all this. He's been sentenced to death. So for the triple red rum case. So basically, people were dropping like flies around Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell. They had an affair. Both of their spouses ended up dying unexpectedly. They ended up together. And then all of a sudden, Lori's two youngest children end up disappearing. And they later find out that they were unalived. Now, I will say that the husband's case was questionable, her ex-husband, because her brother was involved in that. Her brother's died of natural causes, I think, since then, but her brother was involved in the death of her ex-husband, which everybody suggests that she was part of that. And then they also have the death of Tammy Daybell, Chad's ex-wife, or actually it was Chad's wife at the time, her friend that she kept referring to there. Yeah, well, that's why this is all coming back up, because it's like before they all felt like Tammy had died of natural causes, and then they find out she hasn't. The only reason, and this is what I know of the case, okay, because I have not been following. Some of you guys know this case backwards and forwards. I do not. I chose to stay away from it for quite some time because it irritated me so bad. But from what I understand, the only reason her oldest son is still alive is because he was old enough to be out of the house, gone and moved away. And he might not be here if he was young and still under her custody. He's actually started a podcast since then. He's talked against his mother. He's basically been on the path where he's just wanting to advocate for his brother and sister who were lost in all of this. And so it's really sad. The grandparents were just really sad to watch and all of this. And this woman's crazy. She met another crazies. I guess they find each other, and this is what happens. This has been going on for years, though. But this latest trial should be coming up next week, and we might be watching it together. And so I just wanted to put this out there so you guys can kind of prep for it. I have no idea what this woman's going to say. I have no idea what this woman's going to do. Let me look at one more thing. Like she did her latest hearing, she was going on and on about something. Hang on, I think I've got it here. It might be a lot of eye-rolling moments. That's why I was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted for us to do this, to watch this trial together. I didn't want to commit to the whole thing because it might get a little bit too much to where it's just like, oh, I can't even watch this anymore. Here's where she presents arguments during a status conference in Arizona for this latest trial.
Inmate Legal Services works. Did you receive the state's response yet?
I did receive it yesterday, but I was hoping that I could put my response on the record today, my reply.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me get my glasses. Do you want me to stand, Your Honor, or can I just sit here?
You can sit there.
So the state has claimed in their response that these documents are not material in the case, and this defense is entitled to this specific evidence for the proposition that this evidence can be used to impeach the thoroughness and good faith of the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution. That's Kiles versus Whitley, 514 U.S. The acid test of this prosecution is not a matter of determining if the defendant is guilty of the crimes that the defendant is charged, but rather, was any crime even committed? And where is this evidence? This defense
Shopify Point of Sale makes it easy to start and grow your retail business. All backed by the world's most powerful commerce platform. Whether you're running a retail shop or online store, from startup to scaled up,
has yet to find any evidence of a conspiracy in the 100,939 pages that have been turned over by the state. The state does not get to say, like they did in their last motion to us, in their last answer, to say, oh, we gave you over 100,000 pages, so that ought to keep you busy. That's not how it works. These are serious charges, and these are serious consequences for these charges. In determining the actuality of a crime, the state is required to meet, in reality, not in theory, a standard of culpability that is defined by law as a crime. The state is required to meet the challenge of defense reasonably without bias, conflict, prejudice, or speculation. So the defense, we keep filing motions for discovery since we don't know if it's some kind of strategy of the state that they're holding back this actual evidence of conspiracy in hopes that the defendant won't have time to prepare a proper defense against the evidence that comes forward at the last minute. This court has denied every motion the defense has filed to acquire this evidence. The state has claimed in their response to the defense's motion that the defense's request is overbroad and wide sweeping. Is this the defense left to pinpoint where this evidence is and try to find it? No, that is not the law. The state is required by law to give the defense evidence of the crime they are being charged with. This is the purpose of the Brady Law and the right to due process. This is why in 2020 the United States enacted the Due Process Protection Act that provides defendants like me with greater protection, Brady versus Maryland. The state has continued to impede the defense from conducting a defense. This is a violation of the 14th Amendment of our great Constitution and the defense's due process rights. Today, the defense is requesting that this court do the following three things. One, order the state to turn over all evidence of a conspiracy since our trial begins in 76 days from today. I would also ask that they would pare down their witness list to these witnesses that will actually be testifying so the defense can conduct productive interviews. And then I would like for all motions and responses to be sent directly to the defendant in a timely manner. I'm having a really hard time getting this stuff. I don't get it from ILS to 7 days after things have been filed, after your orders have been rendered. I'm not getting these. This defense intends on starting trial on time without delay, and I request that also that this defense requests that the court grant the motion to order the state to produce all discovery of extradition at this time so that we can get started on getting prepared for trial.
What does anything in the extradition have to do with the underlying charges? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, it's to find out why all this started when I can't find any evidence that there is. So,
have you read the grand jury transcripts?
I have.
Okay, the grand jury transcripts summarize what the state's evidence they intend to produce at trial.
I understand that.
So when you say you can't find anything, that is the summary in the grand jury transcripts.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess I don't understand how an extradition a year or so after the fact, after the indictments, would have anything to do with the underlying charges. So can you articulate that for me?
I can, Your Honor. There's the detectives that are on these cases are all continuing to go back and forth with all of these different agencies. You have the FBI, you have all the different agencies that are working together. You have Rexburg, Fremont County, you have Chandler and Gilbert. You have all these people. Then I have them coming on, and they're going to be on the stand, and they're going to be in trial, and they're going to be saying what they reviewed. They've reviewed all these things. And there's communications between all of these agencies that I feel like that the defense is privy to. We should be able to have that and look at that and see where all this came from, where all this started, why they waited 2 years to make these charges. There's all these things, and why they decided to extradite when I saw someone sent me a news article 3 days before I got brought to Arizona that MCAO was putting out a release that they were not going to pick me up and they were not going to extradite me to Arizona until after my appeals were finished. So it's contradictory to that. I just don't know where it came from. And there's a lot of things that are mystery questions to the defense that we are entitled to according to the law.
All right, well, everything you've just told me, none of that would be relevant in the trial in the case in chief. Does the state intend on producing any iota of evidence or presenting any scintilla of evidence of anything that happened after the dates of crime that have been charged in the indictments?
The state, although there is information that occurred after that will relate to the conspiracy that has been disclosed to the defense, anything that occurred after the indictment, during the extradition process is completely irrelevant and will not be brought in during the trial.
I didn't mean the date of crime listed in the indictment. I meant the date of the indictment. Correct. So the state doesn't plan on presenting any evidence to a jury of anything after the indictment.
Correct.
So how would that, anything to do with the extradition, be relevant to your trial then?
I feel like it's relevant to the whole, Your Honor, in the sense that the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution, it doesn't make sense. I would like to be able to have that.
All right. Are you otherwise on track for your trial date?
Correct.
Are there interviews going on with your investigator or your advisory council team?
We're working on getting those set up right now.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to address today? This was sort of just a status conference to make sure things are on track.
I have 2 motions that I'd like to file with the court today.
All right. Do you have copies for the state?
I don't today. I thought you could make a copy.
Can we see them?
Sure.
I'll ask the deputy county attorney, from your perspective, anything we need to discuss here today? Yeah.
No, Your Honor.
How long, I'm assuming the 2021 case would be the case that the state intends to try first?
Correct.
How long would that case take for the state's portion to present?
Probably a couple weeks, Your Honor. I mean, and I say that obviously I'm unaware of how long defense will take for cross-examination. So I would probably ask to pre-screen the jury for significantly longer than that.
Meaning 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Yes, Your Honor. I obviously do not know what Ms. Daybell is going to question any of the witnesses.
As we're looking toward that trial date, is advisory council willing to assist the defendant on the jury screening process if we do the electronic questionnaire?
Yeah, to the
Okay.
extent that we
All right, good.
going outside of our scope, but yes.
Sure. I have received a motion for specific discovery from the defendant, well, 2 separate ones. Just going forward, can you title them maybe what specifically you're looking for? Because if you name all your motions the same thing, it gets a little difficult to keep track of them. But I have 2 separate motions for specific discovery.
Just like discovery 911 call.
For example, on this one, you could title it something like motion for discovery related to the Gilbert DR number or something like that, just to differentiate these. We'll make copies of these for the prosecutor, and then we'll have those filed with the clerk today.
I love any type of work, any kind of business at every scale.
One of your requests was to have the state send you directly any pleadings which, according to their mailing certificate at the back of the pleadings, they are mailing them to you. I can't do anything about how long the jail takes to process that. So I do recognize that there's probably some delays on that, so we won't hold you to the normal reply times because of those delays that it takes getting through the jail administratively. All right.
In that case, Your Honor, could we have perhaps that go to my investigator, then I could maybe get those faster? Can he also be included on that?
Your Honor, I do email them to advisory council as well as in the court, so
All right.
but there's not much else I can do.
Who's your investigator?
Jeff White.
And your advisory counselor in contact with him? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the record will reflect that the state's getting a copy of those two motions today, and then the state will respond accordingly. I'll just set a I'll have you reply within 10 days of the date of the filing of their response. All right. Depending on and then I'll rule on the motions as they come, or I'll set a hearing if need be. But at this time, I'm going to affirm the final trial management conference of March 18 at 8:30 a.m. in this division. Trial date's currently March 31. Again, the first case that would be heading to trial would be the 2021 case. Anything else for today?
Yes. Will trial be staying before Your Honor? And if so, will we be staying in this courtroom?
I don't know yet. I'm going to confer with the associate presiding judge, and I suspect it will stay here and it will stay in this courtroom, although for jury selection, we may move to a bigger courtroom if we're doing in-person voir dire.
And Judge, I do know there will likely be the next of kin present. This courtroom obviously does not have a victim room or a witness room. With the media, that obviously makes it more difficult for the state to keep those individuals away from each other, from overhearing each other in this type of case. So obviously, we're happy to stay before this court, but would be requesting that this be reset or moved to the South Court Tower so we would have those accommodations.
I'll talk to the criminal presiding judge and the associate presiding judge regarding that, and it's just a matter of availability of bigger courtrooms. Anything else from the defendant?
I just was going to ask, can we set both trial dates, or how are we going to do that?
You'll have two separate jury trials with two separate juries.
Correct.
So the first trial that will go will be on or around March 31st. We anticipate when that trial's done, we'll talk about how quickly we're going to do the second trial. Does that answer your question?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. It's hard to set the second one without knowing how long the first one's going to take, and then the readiness of everyone as far as the second one after the first one concludes. All right, we will be at recess on that matter. I'll take any motions under advisement.
He's like, well, I don't know, lady. You've committed so many crimes. It's going to take us a while to get through all this. At least she has co-counsel or assistants, whatever they call that. Assistant counsel. I mean, everybody around these people were in danger. It's just so strange. So strange. And, they were saying that the world was going to end a couple years ago. Guess what, Chad? We're still here. Okay, this is the jail recorded phone calls between Chad and Lori Daybell. I thought we could listen to these. This is like 12 minutes long. I'm hoping the audio is decent. If you guys have already seen all this, don't worry. I mean, you don't have to stick around. This is for people that aren't familiar with the case. I just want to show everybody what kind of crazy we're dealing with here.
Okay.
Yes. He was, I asked him what we talked about. And he's very optimistic.
It was very optimistic for you, or he's very optimistic it could happen?
He's very optimistic for both of us.
He doesn't know his own project timeline.
He said stick with it. What he projected in that paper he wrote.
House renovations always take longer than they think.
That's the problem.
I've been watching that Extreme Pools, and the people are like 3 months out. Like, when they estimated they'd have it done, they're like, well, we had so many problems. We couldn't get to the backyard. We had to pull a crane over the house to get these huge rocks for the waterfall.
I can remember last summer, Taylor Hill, Mark's friend, parents moved into a trailer, like a camping trailer, in their driveway because they were going to build their house by the end of the year. Guess where they're still at?
Really?
They sold their house to their son. It's just a weird situation, but you're exactly right. Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, there's always something comes up. Well, we didn't know when we dug in your backyard we were going to find whatever. And then they're like, we have to redo all the piping, and then we had trouble with this, and then something else happened. But they try to make it sound like it wasn't really that long, but it's always like, it's going to take 3 months. And then 3 months after that, they're like, okay, it took 6 months. You couldn't come in your backyard at all. And now it's not summer anymore. Now it's winter, and your pool is finally done.
Right.
Mostly they do it in Florida, places like that. So he's optimistic about his construction problems. Not problems, but plan.
Yeah.
Construction plan, the blueprints are still intact.
Yes.
Their timing.
And I kind of just said, I texted him what you just said is, you guys are always a little off.
Right, exactly. We just want a real estimate.
Right.
What do you say?
I just laughed.
He did not confirm nor deny that fact. That contractors are always later than they think they're going to be.
He's like, it'll work out, how he is. He did want me to say he misses you. But he's not far from, contact. We can talk. We can text him whenever he wants.
Yeah, I can't text anybody. Have text. You text for me. That's like me telling you, I need you to tell this person and talk to this person.
I'll text him back. But he's optimistic. I want to go visit him and grab him by the throat and say, really?
Can he? I know he's optimistic, but can he just make us any guarantees? I mean, we did make our down payments and everything else.
Guarantee.
It was like a guarantee, just an end date of our project.
Well, he knows you pretty well. He just laughs. No, I asked him what he thought of the video project. He said it was really nice. He loved it.
Oh, good.
Detective, through your investigation, were you aware of any type of video put out about Alex Cox around this time?
Not around June 8th, but shortly after Alex Cox died, his sister, Summer Shiflett, made a YouTube video with clips of Alex photos throughout his life and put it to music. And so we viewed that early on in the investigation, but that's what is being referred to here.
Judge, I'm going to object. That calls for speculation. He can't speculate is what it calls for.
Untimely, overruled.
And Judge, I had stopped playing at 12:13. I'm going to recommence playing at 12:13.
You may.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Although I'd never heard that song before. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just something on like iMovie or something that's on your phone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like one of the backgrounds that you can
Sure,
use
she
or
can
something.
found just a happy one. Yeah.
I don't know, because I've never even heard that one, or I've never seen the app, but I know people can do that. iMovie, it was always on my iPhone. I just didn't ever click on it.
Yeah. Frustratingly optimistic, I guess is.
So frustrating for us.
Yeah,
We're gonna
that's what I
completed.
mean.
Thanks for completing your project on time. Will they get a bonus? They do it.
Oh yeah, we'll give him a bonus. It was good. It was good to talk. You know, I hadn't texted him in a while. So
So he would still answer all my questions in the same way, you think, if I texted him?
I think you ought to write down some questions for him and maybe even mail them off and see what happens. See if he'll respond to you. I have no doubt. Don't forget President Holland's talk. That snippet. He seemed like he wants to text you if he could. Yeah, it's all true. That's all I can say. They haven't forgotten. Yeah.
I know they want to work on their project and they're not too happy and busy. You know, that's how I spelled it out. Oh, just like, I'm busy.
Well,
I'm good. It's good. It's good. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's still very interested. He hasn't like forgotten about us.
Good. I know he has other projects, so I don't know how much time that takes.
He's involved in this latest batch.
Wow. Remind him when you do text him back that at the beginning of this project, he said there was only like a 3% chance that there would be trouble from certain aspects. And then there's like 100% trouble because that's where it all started. So find out about that.
Right.
See what he has to say for himself on that issue. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
Recall what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Judge, I'm going to stop at 1635. Detective, who is asking who to obtain information in that snippet we just heard?
Lori was asking Chad for information.
Your Honor, I'm going to continue playing at 1635.
You may.
So I want to know why that is 100% instead of 3% chance of having a problem.
I think he was somewhat right in that. The other aspect was other people. It was a combination.
I know it was a combination. I'm not saying there were other problems, obviously. It's of the location. But what I'm saying is that it's a combination of only, 5 problems.
I agree.
That was a big one.
It was a big one. Uh-huh.
So my faith in those kinds of guarantees are lower.
Me too.
And beggars can't be choosers. I get that, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I get to pick the colors of everything that I want. He's just going to have to figure it out.
Right.
Since I'm here and I can't be in charge of the project. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've thought back on that entire scenario.
We went over the plan and the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he said that wouldn't be a problem.
right.
Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. Oh, good gracious, that's awful. I don't know. I just I wanted to play that for you guys so you could get a feel for the two of them together. Whatever. I don't know. I've never understood what she saw in him. He claims to be a prophet and all this. It's craziness. And they're calling her the Doomsday Mom. I would like to watch the opening statements with you guys if you'd like to join me. So be prepared for that whenever they happen. I'm assuming it would be Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday. Because I would bet you money it's going to be difficult for them to find a jury. I mean, this has been going on for so long, and everybody heard about this woman. I mean, the things that they did after her children died were horrific. And, going flouncing off together to Hawaii and whatnot, it's just, there's, not that it matters because she's already in jail for the rest of her life anyway. So, whatever. The process, we have to go through the legal process. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.